Volleyball is a sport where you always have to look up.
Football is a sport where you always have to look down. Rugby is a sport where you always have to pass backwards. You always have to look at your past. Tennis is a sport where it's all about the return. And golf is a sport where it's all about the follow through. Oh, come on. Come on.
Yes, and welcome back to the episode of Suuuper Anime Podcast. So, Solo, every time you do things the easy way, it dulls your skill for doing it. Convenient and simple ain't the same. Brilliant quote, isn't it? Brilliant quote. And today, I just wanted to essentially give you some anime quotes.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen Chris Williamson Modern Wisdom, but
yep.
And I know these aren't your quotes specifically. He does it usually based on the guest and what they've written, and then gets the guest perspective.
Okay.
But given that you haven't written these quotes, we're just gonna give you some quotes, or give you some quotes, and we're just both gonna speak about or opine on what those specific quotes mean in our life.
Someone's been reading their dictionary. Okay.
Opine's not really a hard word. You know what? That word's used so much at work. It's annoying right now.
Opine, bro. Yeah. I have never heard the word opine at work.
Oh, mate.
At work? What?
So annoying right now, honestly. Opine, man. Oh my gosh. It's like the new word. I don't know where it came from. It's so annoying. But anyway. But no, we're going to do it based on sports. So that first one was more so a generic one from Delicious in Dungeon, which I'm loving, by the way. Great.
Yeah,
great
you messaged. Yes, you really like it, aren't you?
Yeah,
you
Delicious in Dungeon is beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh,
okay. It's like a slime. Just fast food, easy to watch.
It's right. I think I'm in a moment right now in my life where that's all I want.
I think you want. It's on Netflix. Try it. And it's got a decent story as well behind it. But try it. Actually, try it.
Okay.
It's absolutely, and you get hungry watching it though. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'm gonna give you some quotes, and we're just gonna like essentially talk about or reflect on those quotes and what we think those quotes mean. In a more, as we do here in Suuuper Anime Podcast, we take anime and bring it into a world perspective. So first one is from the anime Blue Lock. So we're doing sports themed related ones.
Okay.
Talent is the skill to prove one's own ability.
Talent is the skill to prove one's own ability.
What do you think?
I think I'm dumb because I don't grasp it. I'm trying to go through it in my head. Talent is the skill to prove one's own ability.
Yeah. So if you're a talented person, he's basically your ego, however you want to say his name from the show. It's insinuating that talent is a skill. And in order to showcase the skill, it comes through the ability that you have. That's where I see anyway.
Talent is the skill to showcase one's own
to prove ability. One's own ability.
Talent is the skill to
so
prove
for me, singing, that's my talent. How do I showcase this? By singing. That's the ability. Singing is the skill to prove talent is the skill to prove one's own ability. If you haven't got talent, you can't prove it, right?
Okay, I see. I understand it.
We can go to another one.
No, because I think also the way talent and skill is also separated sometimes can change the meaning of
that's true.
Alone.
That's true.
So that's where my confusion came. I was like, well,
because you can build skills.
Exactly.
You can't necessarily build talent. Because talent is you can.
It's innate. That's where I'm going. I'm like, well,
you can build talent, but it's something that comes innate to you.
Are you talking about innate talent? Because then innate talent is something different from the skilled side of. If you're on, it depends how you see talent. If you see talent as something that you're born with, like people, I'm a natural born singer.
Yeah.
Okay. But then there are also people that are like, I couldn't sing at all and I learned how to sing. I learned, I put the hours in, I got the right mentors and teachers, and I learned how to sing. So when I hear talent is the skill to prove one's own ability, I'm thinking, okay, so they're talking about the whole point there is that you can have whatever's inside, but if you can't showcase it, you can't prove it, then what is it? You don't have any talent. The talent comes in the ability to prove that ability. So it's like, for example, you might be a natural born singer, but if you don't ever showcase that ability, then you don't have talent.
Yeah. Well,
that's
no,
what, that's
you
what
do
that,
have
no, that's
talent,
what that's
but that's what the quote is saying.
That's what the quote is saying. Like, if I could be the next Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
But if I never show it on a football pitch, then I don't.
You might as well. Yeah. And I agree with that to some sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I think in the Blue Lock world, that makes sense, because although I haven't watched Blue Lock as much, like heavy, I know enough about it to know that it's all about ego, and in the dictionary sense, where it's about, okay, proving that I am the best. I am the best football player on this pitch, and I'm going to prove it to everybody here. It doesn't matter if I'm your best friend. I will kill you if it means that I'm going to be the best person on the pitch. Yeah. So in that world, that statement makes sense. Yeah. I think outside in the real world, I think that I would call that, it's almost like putting yourself in a shop window. It's making sure that you are seen, that you're visible, that people recognize the skill that you have.
No, I think that's true, because you can be the best singer in the world, but if you don't go to competitions,
you need a break. You need a break.
You need to showcase it. You know, you can't. No one can know if you're talented if you're not showcasing that talent, right?
No one can know. So I understand it, but then I also think that there are also so many people that are like artisans in something, like incredible smiths of some sort. Yep. And then somebody just stumbles across them when they're on holiday somewhere, like, this is incredible. That doesn't demean that person's talent.
No, it doesn't.
Sure. It doesn't demean that person's talent. It might mean that might not have commercial success, and they might not have the ability to become like, okay, start their own business.
But they've proved their ability, though, because it's now been seen and someone has acknowledged it.
Yeah, but then is that talent, or is that luck that someone just happened to come by and see your stand and recognize?
It's talent, because someone's recognized that you're good at it.
But in this example, talent is the ability to prove it. I don't see.
Well, how do you prove it if someone isn't seeing? You prove it by someone acknowledging that you're good, right?
Yeah. But then that doesn't sit well with me, because then you're saying that it's an external validation. My point is that if I am a blacksmith. And I'm making this. Okay, let's make it anime specific. If I am a swordsmith and I am making blades, it's well documented that people just love the craft. Even if nobody sees them, they are expert at their chosen craft. Like, I know how to make a good sword, good table. If they're anything, right? So I'm saying that talent in the way I'm trying to describe it here, talent, I think, is interchangeable with skill. Like, you can have a high skill in something, and I don't necessarily think. I think it ultimately comes down with that. I think that everybody has a preference for something in this life. Like, everyone has.
Of course,
a gift.
Yeah.
But I think skill and hard work is way more important than anything else.
Well, yeah, talent works hard work works talent, right? That's what they say. But if you had a Venn diagram, or I would say there's obviously, like you meant, attributes that you give more towards. So, like you watch or you play a football game, someone has more speed,
yes.
Someone has more
You're
power.
You're naturally born with more this,
so
or born that.
Exactly.
Yes,
so you could create your player, automatically he's like a 90 speed. Whereas you could have a player, that's the talent. That's you just automatically 90. But he could build that, or she could build that to 99. Yeah. Whereas someone else could just have 70 and build that to maybe 85. 85 is the highest they can go. So that's more with hard work right? And then you could have
Got it.
someone who's like 40 and they can't even get, maybe 50 is the highest they can get to.
Yeah.
So there's no talent for it. They can obviously work on it, but there's no talent for it.
Their talent is not there. They might have talent in some of the mental aspects of the game instead.
It might be better passers,
exactly.
better shooting,
better vision.
Yeah, all these different things.
Yeah.
Think of like a Santi Gazzola.
Yeah, right. So he's not the fastest person, but his vision is up there.
Yeah.
Completely agree. So therefore, that person that is born with the 90 vision,
You mean speed? Yeah, go on.
or speed. Sorry, that's a talent, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. In the that example you just gave, that's not talent. That wouldn't be talent. Talent is only in the ability to showcase the ability.
Oh, you mean from the ego example?
Yeah.
No, talent is the skill to prove one's own ability. It's the skill
I don't know
to prove one's own ability.
I don't think I agree with that. And if I do, I wouldn't call it talent. I don't think I would call it talent.
I think that is
wouldn't call it talent. I wouldn't call that talent. The ability to prove one's own ability.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm born fast, I'm born fast.
Yeah.
I don't need to prove.
How do you
why
prove
do I
it?
need to prove? How do I? I don't need to prove it. I'm born like that.
But then no one else knows you're fast.
But the talent is the skill, which implies that it can be worked.
It can be worked, though. Talent can be worked. Like we mentioned, you can go
So
90
you can
to
work
99.
your talent.
Yeah,
and that's
hard
my
work
thing.
works
I call
talent work
something
hard
more
work.
I think talent is something more innate.
It is innate, but you can build it. Like, I can sing, but I'm not going to say, I can completely be like Whitney Houston and all. But I can train to be better in the same way you could be trained to be faster.
Okay, real life example, I'm terrible at singing. I can't sing.
Yeah.
If I become like a world-class singer,
Mm-hmm.
do I have talent? Do I have a singing talent? No, I don't.
But it could be
I have a
argued
skill
you never get
acquisition.
there.
I have a skill acquisition benefit.
But you could argue
But I
you
don't
never
have a
get
talent.
there.
No.
But
Why not?
but talent just comes.
Macy Gray ain't the best singer. She is sold records upon records.
Okay, that's true. But talent is much more so how it comes easy. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful at it. It's just what comes naturally easy to you.
What if I can naturally pick up singing?
Then that's a talent.
But I'm not a good singer. I can just pick it up.
What does that mean? You can pick up singing, but you're not a good singer.
Like, you know how many people can play football, but they're never going to get to they can pick up the skill of learning how to kick.
Yeah, but that's two different things.
I just don't understand that statement. Like I said, maybe I'm dumb, but
No. I don't. I see where you're coming from, but
I don't think it's. I do. It sounds like an anime quote. Basically, it just screams of an anime quote. Talent is there's two talent, skill, ability, all in one sentence, and there's less than 10 words. Make it make sense.
It's the skill to prove one's own ability. But maybe I'm taking it out of context. But yeah, that's fine. Anyway, next one.
I understand what's being said. So to
Yeah.
be clear, I understand what's being said. I just wouldn't say. I
That
wouldn't
way.
start that with.
Yeah,
talent.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Next one. To change, one must deconstruct themselves and build back. For evolution comes from knowing one's limitation and flaws and overcoming them.
What anime is that from?
Blue Lock. To change, one must deconstruct themselves and build back. For evolution comes from knowing one's limitation and flaws and overcoming them. I think that's a great quote.
I hate that I am a biologist. I hate it because evolutionary biology. Those people that can't overcome that you can't.
No, it doesn't say overcome. It says, for evolution comes from knowing one's limitation and flaws. So if knowing thyself allows you to become better. So think about it. Think about how many people.
That might make sense. But I'm saying people should be careful about throwing words in because evolution comes from knowing. When I hear evolution comes from knowing your
one's limitations, and
knowing
flaws.
your limitation and flaws, and then what's
and overcoming them.
And overcoming them. Okay. Say for example, Ed. Okay,
Yeah.
real life example. If for survival purposes, humans need to be able to reach to get a banana that's 7 foot or 8 foot in the air,
Okay.
10 foot in the air,
Yeah.
and if you don't get that banana, it's game over, and you can't use the step. So by natural, but just like survival of the fittest, will naturally mean that, okay, the taller human beings are more likely to survive than the shorter human beings, unless you have a shorter human being who's smart enough to use a step to overcome that limitation of height, right? So for me, I think of it as like, okay, well, let me not explain myself too much. It's an anime quote.
I think you're going way too deep into this.
I said it. I hate that I understand biology too much.
No,
and my brain was going
talking
straight to evolution.
Yeah, but we're not talking about evolution in terms of, monkeys into people or anything like that. I'm talking about from the perspective of if one wants to evolve in terms of just mentally, physically, in relation to get better.
Know thyself.
Yeah.
Know thyself.
You have to deconstruct yourself in terms of understanding who am I? What do I want? Where do I want to go? Because sometimes we don't necessarily look at what we want. We're just going with the flow, going with the crowd, going with the noise. But sometimes it's good to take a step back and like just take a blank piece of paper and then write what you want down. So you're almost like introspective. So that's where I see it. I didn't see like a 8-foot banana and 9-foot banana.
I just get triggered by certain terms like evolution.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Stop it.
No matter how
it makes sense.
No matter how much you knock on the door to someone's heart, you can't change them.
True. You can, I agree with that. You can't change someone. The only way you can change someone is if they decide to change themselves.
Exactly. I would agree with that.
You can't force change upon someone. And if you have, it's never going to be long lasting. And it may, if it ends up being negative, they'll resent you for it.
Absolutely. You know what? It's funny you say that because I was watching a YouTube channel, and there was this guy who talked about he gave up his Yu-Gi-Oh cards for his partner. Because his partner told him that they were childish, he needs to stop it. He had a massive Yu-Gi-Oh channel, like 100,000 subscribers, getting millions of views. But the girlfriend at the time said, "What you're doing is corny, it's lame. You should stop it." So he stopped it, and I'll put a link into the show notes. It was mediocre tutorial reviews, and he does some really good analysis, a lot of dating and stuff like that. But this one caught my. This guy's black. Yeah, this guy's black.
No, is he back online?
He's back online now. Yeah, but after 8 years. After 8 years. So he sold all his Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
This is just getting me upset.
Yeah, he sold all his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He stopped watching anime. To the point where he was miserable, and then his wife and he got married to her because the thing is he knew what he was getting into. So before he got married to her, he sold everything. He got married to her, and then she wanted him to get a 9 to 5, and he was making good money with his YouTube, and he does music as well. He was making good money with his YouTube and music that she didn't really acknowledge it. So obviously when he got rid of his Yu-Gi-Oh cards, he got rid of his interest, he had to get a 9 to 5 job. And not only that, she told him that they have to move. So he was, I think, in Baltimore, and he had to move somewhere else. So not only has he left his family, his friends, and his community, he's now had to move somewhere else. She then starts resenting him or starts saying, "Why aren't you paying for the bills?" So on and so forth. He said, like, "Look, I was getting more money doing the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff and the music, and now I'm in a 9 to 5, not making as much money." So eventually, long story short, she leaves him or they get divorced. And he was just reflecting on the fact that he should have been more of a, I guess, he should have backed himself. That's what he should have done. He should have backed himself. This is who I am. I'm not going to change for anyone. But he tried to change, and in the end, it still didn't end up working. Even when he started to like come back with his YouTube, she was complaining that he was too loud, he was making noise, blah, blah, blah. So, moral of the story is, you are who you are. Find someone who loves that, respects that. Now, there will be compromises that you need to make, that's fine. But if that's your core, if that's something that you love, don't lose yourself to try and entertain or try and make someone else happy, because you're gonna end up resenting them, for sure.
I have a lot to say on this topic. I struggle to hear stories like that because it's one, I feel very lucky that I don't have a relationship like that. But that whole idea of know thyself, right? Mm-hmm. If you know that this is the type of person I am, I think it's extremely unfair to demand. It's almost all of the negative things that we just said. Know thyself. and that you can't change people. It's the two things combined, and so you've tried to force change up onto somebody.
Yep.
And then look what happens. They're not the person that you wanted.
Nope.
Like I'm a homebody. If I was to meet someone, I'm talking just purely from a friendship perspective.
Yeah.
And they are the type of person that goes raving every night. You can't. Like, I'm not that type of person. Not even to forget the fact if I'm in a relationship or single, I'm just generally not that type of person to go out raving every single night. So it'll be unfair for me to then ask that person, no, let's just chill and go and have like a coffee and play a board game.
Yeah.
And talk about fantasies. Like, no. No. Perfect case in point. Our mutual friend.
Yeah.
Mr. Bougie himself.
Yeah.
Like, for little backstory for the people that for listeners, the three of us, there's a wider group, but the three of us are very different people. Like, we're all very different people. And this Mr. Bougie that we talk about, he doesn't try to change us, and we don't try to change him. He doesn't care about anime. He has never watched anime. He doesn't care about video games. He's never played video games. This guy has never even owned a console.
Really? I didn't even know that myself.
For the whole time, even from when we've known him, and we've known him for over 15 years, he has never owned a console.
No.
I've never seen him hold a console in his hands.
No.
Never. I've never even seen him play a game on his phone. That's how much I don't see him do anything. But we don't try to change people, and I just feel really, my heart goes out to people like that have change forced upon them. And obviously, I know like life can be lonely. Like, you want a partner. For those people that do want a partner, and so it's something that's important to them. But then at the same time, don't forget yourself in all of this. Don't forget yourself in all of this, because it won't end well. It won't end well.
No, I totally agree.
It won't end well. I will never stop being a geek. Comic books, manga, anime, video games. I may fall out of love with them in different periods of time, but one of them will always be in my rotation. Always. Always.
No, it's just because you said rotation and he's just like girls. Next one. If you never admit defeat, you will never know true frustration.
If you never admit defeat, you will never know true frustration. I can understand the thinking behind that.
Yeah. I think that's
being accepting that.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't succeeded here, or I've missed my own mark, or I've missed in my own expectations. That acceptance of that is can be frustrating for sure.
But then on the other side, when I think about this quote, I think about Vegeta. He never admits defeat, but he knows frustration. Like, he's always frustrated.
Yeah, because he was born in the frustration. he is one with the frustration. No, I think. But then, what is our favorite moments though?
What, from Vegeta?
Vegeta moments. Our favorite Vegeta moments are when he has acceptance at some way, shape, or form. Our favorite Vegeta moments is when he's accepted. This is the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
If he can kill himself, he's gonna kill himself. When he finally just gives his own son a hug for this, like, okay, he's actually, when he's sitting there saying, Goku, I can't do this anymore. I need you. I need you, Goku. It's like, okay, so it's when he's got that acceptance, right? So yes, he does know frustration intimately, but at the same time, our favorite moments is when he goes past that true frustration, and then he's like, okay, I know what needs to be done now.
I have a few more Blue Lock, but let's go to another anime just because I want to make sure we touch some of them animes as well. So I got some from your favorite sports anime, Haiku. Not quite as venomous as Blue Lock, given the environment.
Blue Lock ones, they look like they just Googled, like a 15-year-old just Googled good quotes about hard work and then just copied and pasted them together.
To be the greatest, you need to have fun, and when you're having fun, you're the greatest.
I mean, see, now anime is going the opposite. Now we've gone the opposite direction.
It's that's Haiku.
Now we've gone the opposite direction.
And you're having fun when you're the greatest.
Have fun, we're the greatest. It's like, brother, I've watched too many sporting documentaries. Some of those all-time greats were not fun.
Usain Bolt said it himself, man. Training was horrible. Absolutely horrible. But he was having fun when he was doing it because he was winning. But Yeah, it was horrible. So I'm not sure if I agree with that quote. I understand the sentiment.
Yeah. I understand the sentiment, like have fun when you're doing it. But look at Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. Look, what was the meme? And then I took things personally. I took things personally. It's like, bro, I'm just walking by. Then I took it personally. It's like, wow, okay. There is an element, to be the greatest, there's an element of almost insanity and psychopathy
Absolutely.
you need to have.
Absolutely.
So,
I completely agree with that. Because people don't have wings, we find other ways to fly. That's such a haiku quote, isn't it?
That is such a haiku quote. It's incredible. Them damn crows. I can picture it now. And then as soon as they say that, like this cat, the cat jumps off a trash can and bites the crow.
But I do, and we talk about it in a real world perspective. I do understand the quote because there are sometimes ways where people innovate because they have or they lack certain resources.
Yeah.
So someone might have this, but someone doesn't. So they find other ways. If flying was the one way that others achieving it, as a metaphor, other people who don't necessarily have the resources do innovate or diversify by finding other ways which are not accessible to them. So I do kind of understand that quote.
Yeah, it makes it. I think the sentiment is like, if you don't have wings, then you're gonna find something else to be. If you don't have like one,
if you don't have money,
you're gonna find a way to win. You're
gonna have money. You don't have this. You don't have business acumen. You have this. Yeah,
find a way to win.
Yeah, exactly. Volleyball is a sport where you always have to look up.
NANI?
Football is a sport where you always have to look down.
But you understand the sentiment there, right? In terms of
rugby is a sport where you always have to pass backwards. You always have to look at your past. Tennis is a sport where it's all about the return. And golf is a sport where it's all about the follow through. Oh, come on. Come on. What? Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it.
Mate.
God, I love anime, but sometimes...
that was funny though. I have to say,
as bad as Naruto saying believe it, I'd rather say believe it to myself. I'd rather say believe it.
Let's hop off that one. Okay, next one is being good means being free.
Yes. Whoa. Being good means being free. God, I love anime. Being good means being free. Hey, it's a good quote. I think
that's a good quote. I think being good. What does good mean though?
Exactly. It's like it wouldn't be being good. What? Because you're dry and it's raining outside. Like
I think in the context of that, obviously being a good sportsman or being a good player or being a good athlete means being free to express yourself. I think that's what it means.
Tell that to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Know your role. Don't go out. Don't do anything that we did. Exactly. Do not do anything. It's like, no, we do not want any freedom here. Know your damn position. Do not go off piste. Do not do your own thing.
Oh, gosh. Okay, last one from Haiku. Talent is something you bloom. Instinct is something you polish.
So yeah, I like that.
Talent is something you bloom. Instinct is something you polish.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, they kind of both imply the same thing. Where you have to work on your talent and work on your instincts. So, but I like that.
Yeah. All right, next one. I know you still haven't seen it yet, or you've seen some elements of it. But Hajime no Ippo.
Okay, all right.
I think these ones are really good.
I think these ones are good. I hope I have a feeling that these ones are going to be my favorite ones. But let's see.
Run until you can't run anymore, and then run again. Constant effort is life's greatest shortcut.
Yep.
Coach Kamigawa, something. Yeah, but
like,
I completely agree with that.
Like, there's so many quotes on like a bad idea with good execution will go further than a good idea with bad execution. Yeah. And you can take like a bad idea, and even if you just act on it, you'll get further on it.
Agreed.
So
Agreed. I like that quote a lot.
Yeah,
Because it's just about persistence beats resistance, right? It's
exactly.
as simple as that. The brighter they shine, the darker the shadow grows. That one, I think, is more so anime related. I think that's more anime related.
Believe it or not, I can kind of see parallels when I look at sporting athletes, like all-time great sporting athletes, because of the level, the brighter they shine as an athlete, especially like high-level athletes, the greater
the scrutiny,
the greater sacrifices that have to be made, and those sacrifices aren't always positive. Their relationships suffer. I'm not talking like personal. I'm not talking like spousal relationship, like relationship with family, relationship with friends. No one's gonna understand why you do the things you do.
That's true. That's very true.
Like people like training on Christmas Day. Why don't you just stay at home with the family? And for you to turn around and say, I'm not, because this is important. Like that's a sacrifice.
That's
your kids are gonna see it if you've got kids. Your friends and your family, they're gonna see it as well.
No, that's true, and that could go to anyone who is in the celebrity kind of stardom area. Whether you're a musician, whether you're an athlete, that's very, very true. Actually, that's a good way to look at it. Actually, you're right, because you have to make sacrifices. Not everyone who works hard is rewarded, but all those who succeed have worked hard. Yeah.
And I think that first part is actually quite important. Not everybody who works hard
is rewarded.
And that's a bitter.
It's a bitter pill to swallow. It is a very bitter pill to swallow.
So you're telling me that I could do all this work that everyone keeps telling me and I could not get anywhere? Yes.
Yeah.
Because hard work doesn't mean there's a difference between hard work and then doing the right work. There's a difference.
Ooh, I like that. And there's also an element of luck. Because you could do hard work, but you just didn't get that element of luck.
It's like for example, we both get the brief. I want you to travel to America. I do all my hard work, and I start training, and I start trying to learn how to ride a bike. I know how to ride a bike. Learn how to ride a bike, so I can pedal to the US. And I'm putting all this hard work in, and then you do your hard work and just plan to take a flight, and you've put your hard work in planning and educating yourself. I've put my hard work in the physical. We can both work hard. Doesn't mean that we're going to get to the same end. So you have to do the right work, not just hard work.
That's a good point. And I also like the end where it says all those who succeeded have worked hard though.
Yes, all the people that have.
So
there's no overnight success.
There's no overnight success. So you might get a majority who don't necessarily get rewarded, but those that do get rewarded, they still worked hard.
They still worked hard.
Yeah.
And then you could even argue, okay, but what about those people that like the Hawk Tour girl? And it's like, yeah, but we don't want to live in a society where someone like that, not personally, but you don't want to aspire to that because you can't control that.
Nah.
That was a freak moment. She was just out enjoying her life. She gave a funny answer to a question. That's all it was, and she's been catapulted. into like one of the. I saw recently. She has like one of the most like popular podcasts.
Like she's got podcasts, she's got hats, merch, all that stuff.
But then, what do you have to say? That she's worked hard to position herself to take advantage of the situation. She didn't. She could. There's so many other people that have had viral moments
that didn't capitalize.
They didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah. It's very
Do you remember
true.
Chocolate Rain? I'm
Chocolate Rain.
Chocolate Rain. Some say had and others say chocolate rain.
Oh gosh. The more you sweat, the less you cry. I was like, what does that mean? But then I was deep in it, and it was like, it makes sense. Think about it.
It does make sense.
It makes very much sense.
The more hard work you put in, the less time, hopefully the less losses you're going to experience, and less setbacks, which will mean hopefully the less tears.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a deep one that you have to think about, but it's a good one. It's a simple one.
It's a simple one, but it's a deep one. The more you sweat, the less you cry.
It's one that I would constantly tell a child.
Yes. Because it has layers to it.
And then they get as they get older, they're like, oh yeah, my dad used to
tell me.
say yeah. Wait. Say it again, Ed, because I might need to take that. The more you sweat, the less you cry.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually kind of like that one.
It's good, isn't it?
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Say that to your kids.
You know what?
Keep running. Keep going.
Then they just start screaming. The more you sweat, the less. Yeah, exactly.
I was watching Joe Rogan, and I can't remember the guy. I think he was a UFC fighter, and he started off in wrestling or something like that. And his dad would always say, "It can only last so long, son. It can only last so long."
I like that. So I like one that's similar to that in my own life. This too shall pass.
Same kind of
same thing.
Idea.
Like, this too shall pass. Same idea. Nothing is gonna last forever. Nothing will. Nothing will. It may be different to what you expect. It may not be what you expect. But it will not. What you experience now, this too shall pass. I actually do say it to myself a lot. Actually,
it's true though. Yeah. I say that when I'm especially when I'm feeling the burn when I'm working out. It's like it can only last so long. Just keep going.
I like that it can only last so long. These are good ones.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. I didn't know this was in Hajim because this is a biblical quote as well. I didn't even know this was.
That's what I heard. I heard that from the Bible.
The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That is, I didn't even know it was in Hajim, but yeah, this is a good one as well.
I can imagine that I can imagine the context from a Hajim. It's like, that fighting spirit, your arms are gonna feel tired, your head is gonna hurt, your wrists are gonna be in pain, but your spirit, you need to just keep going. Don't let your body say no first, and because it always say no first.
Yep.
It's fact. Right, cool.
The amount of times you hear athletes who say the greatest athletes are the ones who can overcome in their mind. Because
mental.
All of it, I was shocked. A lot of it is mental. Because you're already playing at the highest level. So then what separates the Ronaldos from the, I don't know, Ollie Watkins or whatever, I'm just making it up. But the top echelon is that mindset. We talked about that brightest light and the darkest shadow. Yeah. He must have a huge shadow, just in terms of all the stuff he has to do. Djokovic as well.
Yeah. He's like all of them. So there's a couple of and he's made fun of a lot, and unfortunately RDC I've made fun of him and stuff like that. Ben Simmons, he's a basketball player.
Yeah.
And physically, first 2-3 years in the league in the NBA, all-star. He's 6'9", he's 6'9", 6'10", got vision. Like he's a physical specimen. Like he can handle
all the
himself.
attributes. Yeah,
all the attributes. Again, first few years in the league, he's an all-star. On that current trajectory, there's no reason why he wouldn't go down as a top 50, top 75 NBA player. Mentally, though, it all went wrong. Whether it be injuries that then triggered, or something else that happened. But now, for somebody who's 6'9", he's like afraid to shoot. He's afraid to drive through. And you've got all the physical attributes, like you're big enough to bang with the centers, but doesn't drive. And then I think there was a moment in the playoffs where there's this short for the NBA 6 foot guy, Trae Young, who was there literally by on the baseline, spin moved, and then he was the defender that was gonna come was Trae Young, who's 6 foot. He and 6 foot and slim, not a stocky 6 foot, 6 foot and skinny. And there's Ben Simmons, 6'10", 6'9",
stocky, built,
and he just passed the ball off, and everyone's like, "What are you doing? Just dunk it, just dunk it." There is nothing that this guy can do to you. There is nothing that he can do, and then ever since the people start to look and reflect and say he's afraid to drive the lane and afraid to do things, and people saying this, whatever is happening to Ben Simmons, all mental, because there is nothing physical
Yeah.
that should prevent him from constantly
Dominating,
being every single
yeah.
year dominating as a top 10 player. Nothing. He's clearly got the vision to be a great passer. Everything mental, all mental. So I think it's and you see so many like football players, especially with the rise of like football sport players and athletes having podcasts where they talk about all these players that we heard about when we were younger. Like, they're
amazing.
incredible. They were amazing. What happened? Just didn't love the game.
Yeah.
Just didn't love the game.
Love the game, mental. Yeah.
Mental, or they love the lifestyle more than the actual hard work.
Yeah.
Or they rely too much on their talent. They rely too much on their talent.
Yeah.
And that could only get them so far.
That's very true.
When you've got people like Phil Neville and
Gary Neville.
What do you call it? Phil Neville, Gary Neville, James Milner, and they have created like world-class careers for themselves.
Yep. And to be honest, they weren't necessarily the most...
By their own admission.
Yeah.
By their own admission.
Yeah.
I'm not the most skilled player. No way.
No skilled, most physical, but they just grit. That's all they had.
Mental.
Grit.
Mental.
Grit will get you there. Last one from Hejim. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's very true as well.
That's a good one.
All right, back to Blue Lock.
Oh gosh, I knew I'd like Hajim. I knew I'd like the Hajim ones. And then we go back to Blue Lock.
Now, this is a good one from Blue Lock. A goal isn't a miracle; it's the product of your obsession.
They had me until the product of your obsession.
I think so. I think most goals, if you achieve it, not all of them, but the ones which are very, very high, you have to have somewhat of an obsession. Like Michael Jordan was obsessed with being the best basketball player.
Fine.
There has to be an element of obsession
when
with
you
there.
say that, then yeah, I see the clear narrative. Okay. I'll take that back. I'll take the laugh back.
There's one I don't want to read out because you're just going to be like, of course. I'll read it. It says, if you want to win, you have to be ready to crush others' dreams. Oh, gosh. Another one. Oh, I know this. Click on the next video before he lets it off. Impeccable form, by the way. And the Hunter x Hunter drip is... Get out of there! It's still there, though. Yes, but in his mind, it's gone.